What is going on, you guys? Petplatypus here, and it is time to talk about Dragon Ball Super Episode 47. The Future Trunks arc has begun, and it was a really good episode to start things off. Starting off with the animation, this episode looked very good from an animation standpoint. Now, you could tell that it was the artist who doesn't draw the best, to put it lightly, to sugarcoat it a bit, but it was actually fairly consistent from an artistic standpoint. It was simplistically drawn, but it was consistent. I can't remember any shots where I was like, okay, that looks really bad, you know what I mean? It was fairly consistent for that artist's standards, and it looked really, really nice from an animation standpoint. So the animation was overall good. Then we have the pacing of the episode. The pacing of the episode was also really solid. We switched between future scenes and more comedic, lighthearted, present-day scenes with Goku and Piccolo. Nice callback to Master Roshi's training, of course. The scene, what I like about the scene I'll get into, but the scene itself is kind of like, well, with Whis, sure, you know, the training, they had the weights on and they were doing some, you know, normal tasks. However, when it comes to this, it's like, okay, this is just picking up cabbage. This is probably very simple. Like, Piccolo gets the idea of the training, but it's probably like a total cakewalk for them. Easy as fuck. But I like the detail where Goku treated doing this work, because, you know, he has to be a farmer, he took this work and made it like training. I like that. I love the detail in Dragon Ball Super like that, where normally he doesn't want to do the work at all, but if he turns it into training, he's more open to doing it and getting the job done. And I really like that detail. And, you know, they don't draw too much attention to it. You kind of just have to pick up on it, and I really like that. And then Krillin shows up and fucks everything up, because then Goku teleports to Beerus, and we have some food eating, and actually we get some nice exposition on the Omni King, and how if you piss this fucker off, he'll destroy universes. Like, fuck it. He destroyed like 6 universes. There used to be 18, now there's 12, because he just said, fuck it, and they were all gone. Which is why they're so scared of him. To me, that story is a little fishy. I don't know, it's just... he seems really nice and laid back, and yeah, maybe he could be super, super overpowered and have a really bad temper, but I don't know, it just seems a little fishy to me how that all plays out, but we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, so the conversations there were good for the overall expanding of the lore of the universes and everything, so there was a decent amount of, I guess that's not really story progression, but like I said, it expands the lore, so that's pretty good. We also get the future stuff, so I'll get into that, because that's basically the present-day stuff. It's pretty good, some nice comedy. I like the detail of Goku turning work into training, and of course, training with Whis. The only other thing I want to mention is that Whis told Vegeta, "What's wrong? You can't hit me today." Now, was that Whis just being an asshole and, like, you know, just being a dick and mocking Vegeta? Or has Vegeta actually been able to hit Whis, and he's just not able to do it on this particular day? That's very interesting. Maybe I'm reading too far into it, but I like to pay attention to the details in Dragon Ball Super. So yeah, that's the present-day stuff. The future stuff. Bulma died. That was intense. I didn't expect that. I mean, I kind of expected it, because I knew this arc wanted to go for a darker tone, but it's interesting that it actually happened. And Mai, which I didn't like the Mai one. I honestly wanted to see Mai, or Mai, however the fuck you say her name. I wanted to see her more, and see her and how her and Trunks, you know... I mean, we're probably going to see it when they're kids, when Trunks finally goes back in time, and we're going to get some explanations there. But I kind of wanted to see more of that, but they looked like they were, at the very least, you know, close friends, and sharing their food and everything, and, you know, just trying to fucking survive. With very minimal detail, you were able to kind of get a good grasp of what was going on here. You know, you could see, she's like, I found food, and it's not dog food, you know, and it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Most people would take, all the survivors would take legit food and leave all that bullshit behind. So, you know, they did a good job of illustrating the future and how fucked it is, even worse than how it was with the androids. And we don't get a population count, but I'm assuming it's very low. And then we finally see at the end of the episode, Black Goku, looking a little thin, I'm not going to lie. The outfit is very reminiscent of Akai. It very much is, and we also see Akai in the opening, and at the very end of the opening, we also see him again. He's green. And the Kais are God-related, and with this outfit on Black Goku, I want to say God of Destruction Goku. I want to lean towards that, possibly, but I'm not too sure. And then Trunks has a one-way trip amount of fuel, although the fuel looked familiar. I was thinking back to Dragon Ball Super episodes, and didn't Jocko help Bulma create something like that? I forget what she called it. I know it was an experiment she was working on, and she forced no, it was Monaco, right? Wait, was that the episode? I'm trying to think how far back this was. It was just a few episodes, right? I think Monaka, yeah, because he was late to go do his delivery, and that's why Trunks and Goten got taken. She was making some kind of blue thing, and he had to help her. So maybe she's already working on time travel shit, which would be interesting. Because he has to do a return trip. We know, unless they fuck up the timeline even more, we know that if Trunks goes back in time, meets up with Goku and everybody, he can't change anything. He can't change anything in his timeline. He can prevent that from happening in their timeline, if it's even going to happen, but he can't change his own because all the timelines are separate. So what he probably wants to do is come back with Goku or Vegeta or both and have them fight this guy and take him out. And that would be interesting, that would be cool, but he only has a one-way trip to the past. So if Bulma is working on some fuel, that would be really cool. It'd be a nice way to tie that in, that scene with Monaka, which would be really good foreshadowing, honestly. Like, really, really good foreshadowing. If the liquid was the same color. I want to say it was blue. She could have been making something completely different. I might be reading too much into it, but I want to give them the credit that they could have planned that out. Regardless, though, this was a really solid episode with really good animation, really good pacing. It built some of the lore of the series. It had some nice comedy. It was intense. They set the tone very nicely. So far, this arc is living up to the tone set by the trailers and everything, and hopefully it can continue to be well animated and everything. Because I don't mind if the art can look a little shaky here and there, as long as the animation itself is dynamic and smooth, and the art doesn't get too bad. And so far they've been doing pretty good. Like Goku versus Frieza, but most of the other scenes with the art like this, it's been fairly solid, to be honest. So as long as they can keep it like that, I'll be satisfied. Because I do think this animator does do a good job of actually, like, making the fights look dynamically. There's some scenes in Goku versus Golden Frieza that are actually pretty badass. So with that being said, that's pretty much all I have to say about this episode. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I'll probably give it a solid 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was a very good to great episode of Dragon Ball Super. Really liked the lore building, really liked the pacing, the animation, the dark tone, everything going on with this episode was pretty damn solid. Of course, there's still, fucked up issues with the timeline and why May is, young and not old or dead and whatever. Toriyama said fuck those things. I'm going to say fuck those things. I take Dragon Ball Super with a grain of salt. So, that sounds like I just say fuck the series. I enjoy the series very, very much. I just take its continuity with the rest of Dragon Ball with a grain of salt. But, anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Tell me what you guys thought of this episode of Dragon Ball Super in the comment section below. You can follow me on Instagram or add me on PSN. I'm petplatypus on both. You can also give this video a thumbs up and share it on social media. Both those would help me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't already, or if you like what you've seen here. I mean, if you watched the whole video, you must have liked it at least a little bit. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.